welcome our platform party. Binod Tiwari, University Faculty Marshal. Susama Baruha, Interim Dean, College of Engineering and Computer Sciences. Morteza Ramadian, Interim Dean, Mahalo College of Business and Economics. Marie Johnson, Dean, College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Edward Fink, Interim Dean, College of Communications. Dale Merrill, Dean, College of the Arts. Cheryl Fontaine, Dean, College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Carrie Knutson Miller, Dean, University Extended Education and Associate Vice President of International Programs and Global Engagement. Alicia Kirkwood, Interim Dean of Students. Lisa Kurtman, Dean, College of Education. Clement Guthrow, Dean, Pollock Library. Lori Rhodes, Dean, College of Health and Human Development. Gregory Sachs, Vice President for University Advancement. David Forges, Vice President for Human Resources, Diversity and Inclusion. Danny Kim, Vice President for Administration and Finance and Chief Financial Officer. Amir Dabirian, Vice President, Information Technology and Chief Information Technology Officer. Vanessa Acuna, President, Alumni Association. Berenicia Johnson-Eanes, Vice President for Student Affairs. Yanitza Barrios, President, Associated Students. Anil Puri, Interim Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Emily Bonney, Chair, Academic Senate. Linda Wolverton, screenwriter and our keynote speaker. And Mildred Garcia, President.
Welcome to the California State University Fullerton Class of 2017 Commencement Ceremony. I am Dr. Binod Tiwari, Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering. It gives me great pleasure to serve as the University Faculty Marshal today. I congratulate you on your many achievements and extend you my wishes for a future of creativity, success, and happiness. Please stand as the Cal State Fullerton ROTC Honor Guard proceeds with the presentation of colors. Amy Schneeberger will then lead us in the singing of the national anthem.
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Please be seated. The California State University Fullerton 2017 commencement ceremony has begun. There are many special guests in the audience today, and we extend our heartiest welcome to each and every one of you. On behalf of the university community and the class of 2017, we thank you for joining us to celebrate these graduates and their accomplishments. Each graduate will receive a certificate of recognition for participation at their college or program graduation ceremony, where their individual name will be called. This certificate is signed by the dean of their respective college and the president of the university. At this time, I would like to invite the president of California State University, Fullerton, Dr. Mildred Garcia, to the lectern. Dr. Garcia.
Good morning, buenos dias. First, thank you, Dr. Tawani. I am honored to recognize you as Cal State Fullerton's Outstanding Professor of the Year and grateful for your participation as Faculty Marshal for our 2017 commencement ceremonies. Much like the 10,000 diverse students we're honoring here this week, and it's really 11,000, Dr. Tawani personifies our university-wide theme, Titans Reach Higher. Over the last several years, he's been recognized with the Outstanding Leadership Award from the College of Engineering and Computer Science, the Distinguished Faculty of the Year Award from the Cal State Fullerton Alumni Association, the Outstanding Faculty Scholarly and Creative Activities Award from the Office of the Provost, and the Outstanding Leadership Award from the American Society of Civil Engineering. Yet of all of his success, he's most proud of teaching, mentoring, and helping students achieve their academic dreams and life goals. From orientation to graduation and beyond, he is a role model showing students how to even reach higher. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipient of our 2017 Outstanding Professor Award, Dr. Binod Tiwari. And now, class of 2017, it is my honor to welcome you to the most important day on the academic calendar and my favorite day of the year, your commencement. Congratulations. It is indeed a wonderful celebration, one that I suspect began last night, ran into the wee hours of the morning, and will likely continue throughout the weekend. But that's okay, graduates. You earned it. And per tradition, some of you are even boasting about your accomplishments with messages on the back of your graduation cap. I saw one that said, "Nevertheless, she persisted." Another that said, "I can't believe we all wore the same thing." And one proudly read, "Primera generación." Not to be outdone, families and friends are holding up signs of their own. I saw one father crying with joy, holding up a sign that read, "Does this mean you're finally moving out?" And I think I saw a mom holding up a sign that said, "We're here for you, mijita, but Dad's still looking for a parking spot." But no matter what it says on the back of your cap or on your family signs, what language those messages are written, or how long you looked for parking this morning, you made it, you did it, you look amazing, and together you're 11,000 degrees stronger. As president, I will repay you for your hard work with two things that will make you and your families incredibly happy. One, I will confer your degrees. And two, I will keep my speech short. But before I finish, it is my duty as your president to remind you, you do not stand here alone. Look around you. You are surrounded by family, friends, faculty members, advisors, and classmates who mentored you, taught you, and Snapchatted with you when you needed it the most. But instead of Snapchatting, let's take it back to old school. Put down your phones, put our hands together, and thank everyone who helped you get here today. Graduates, we are so proud of you. You now join an illustrious group of more than 250,000 alumni, lifetime titans who continue to reach higher on behalf of the university and everyone who calls it home. As you join their ranks, there are 3 simple ways to ensure your future tracks with your legacy of your alma mater. Number 1, keep learning. We Titans are lifelong learners, and while your degree will open doors, it's your job to fill your mind with what's on the other side. Make this a habit, and the door will get bigger, revealing a breadth of knowledge beyond what you could even imagine today. I know this because, like many of you, my path to commencement was anything but traditional. I was born and raised in the Brooklyn housing projects. I am the first in my family to graduate from college, but because I never stopped learning and my family kept pushing me to that ultimate dream, this is what I've achieved, and I know you could achieve even higher. Keep learning. Number 2, give back. Or perhaps what I should say is keep giving back. This year, Titan students performed 1.4 million hours of community service. Graduates, that is now your legacy. And I encourage you to spread the Titan spirit in your communities by reaching back to mentor at least one other person to achieve a university degree. As graduates, you now serve as that guiding light for those in our community who look to you to see what is possible. Shine bright for them. Shine bright for them because so many shine bright for you during your time here. Give back. And number 3, remember your alma mater, Cal State Fullerton. As you venture out into the world, remain connected to Cal State Fullerton. Share with us the many milestones of your life and career. And always remember, once a Titan, always a Titan. And no matter where your journey takes you, you will always be a Titan. Make every day count. Make yourself proud, and then make our families proud and you proud. And in the incredible 6-year tradition of your alma mater, make a difference. I am extremely proud of you. It is an amazing day. Congratulations, class of 2017. Thank you, and Titans, always reach higher.
Thank you, President Garcia. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Berenicia Johnson-Eanes, Vice President of Student Affairs. Dr. Eanes.
Good morning, Titans. You are a beautiful sight. It is today that I want to remind you that we have great hopes for you. Of course, we hope that you will go and do everything you can dream, but we actually hope that you remember some of the lessons that you learned here, and that you remember how many of the faculty, staff, and your colleagues, your fellow students, your lifelong friends will be with you forever. It has been our sincere joy to help you along the way. And I actually hope that you will be able to connect with the greater hope of the journey of higher education. Your higher education is a game changer, and we hope that you'll remember that you have made a choice to change your game. Your higher education will transform your life and the life of your family and friends. And please remember that this investment in yourself is the best bet in town. At Cal State Fullerton, we invest in students in a way that we think is very meaningful. We hope that we have taught you resilience. Resilience is the ability to fall down and get back up. Get back up and get back up. We hope that we have taught you the value of a real experience. Study away, study abroad, internship, work-study job, working in the gastronome, working in the rec center, working and playing together here on campus. We hope that you know what it means to have a real experience. We also hope that you know what it means to focus on one's dreams in a way that you don't give up. We want you to focus, refocus, and remember there are absolutely no mistakes. You are here on purpose, and our intention and hope for you is that you will do any and everything you can. And lastly, we hope, as the faculty, staff, and students, colleagues, and everyone under the sound of my voice, and of course, most importantly, the voice of our wonderful president, that you will remember that not only Titans reach higher, Titans are real people who are going to touch the world and change the world. I wish you the best of luck, and please never give up. My apologies. I would like to now introduce Ms. Vanessa Acuna, President of the California State Fullerton Alumni Association, an alumni of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, class of 2002, and a College of Education, class of 2007. Ms. Acuna.
Thank you, Dr. Eanes. Good morning, graduates. My name is Vanessa Acuna, and I am the president of the Alumni Association. I'd like to begin with an excerpt from the writings of Theodore Roosevelt. This piece is from Citizenship in a Republic, but is often referred to as the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I've been thinking a lot about this piece lately because I believe no truer words have ever been written to describe the place in which all of you sit here today. Take a moment and look around you. Those to your left and your right are your comrades. These buildings, this campus, is your arena. During your years at Cal State Fullerton, you donned your backpack uniform, your shields of textbooks, and your weapons of smart devices. Fully armed, you fearlessly entered the arena. The armor and weapons may have evolved since my days in the arena. However, their vulnerabilities remain the same. Everyone here has come up short in one way or another. Everyone here knows defeat. Despite these setbacks, you all have mustered the strength to continue to exhibit devotion, enthusiasm, and fortitude. These attributes will prove to be invaluable as you enter arenas beyond Cal State Fullerton. You take with you the armor and strength you gained here wherever you go. Usually at this point, it is advised not to look back. I'm not going to do that. I believe it is important to march forward, but never forget the paths you've taken. As I mentioned before, the Titans sitting around you here have been in the same arena with you and undoubtedly have the same aspirations as you. It is for this reason that I encourage all of you to stay connected to the university, keep in touch with professors, participate in campus activities, and extend your network by joining the Alumni Association. You never know when you're going to rely on a member of the Titan family. Just remember, one Titan can only reach so high, but when combined, Titans reach higher. Congratulations, class of 2017, and welcome to the Titan Alumni family.
Thank you, Ms. Acuna. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Emily Bonney, Professor of Liberal Studies and Chair of the Academic Senate, who will give greetings on behalf of the faculty.
Good morning. I am honored to have the opportunity to say a few words on this incredible occasion. It is truly daunting to look out at the sea of the graduates and their loyal, loving supporters. You leave here this morning equipped with the toolkit that your education has provided, ready to take on any and all challenges that confront you. Fortunately, those challenges will not include those that arise in Game of Thrones. But first, at least we hope not, but first, congratulations are in order. You should begin by congratulating yourselves for the diligence and dedication that have brought you to this moment. So a round of applause for the class of 2017. Second, you did not make this journey alone, so we should now take a moment to recognize and thank the friends and family for their support along the way. Commencement speakers, even those charged as I am with making only a few brief remarks, face a formidable challenge. The graduates want to be, or at least want to seem to be, attentive. But the power of the occasion, the prospects of the post-commencement celebration, and the vision of life after CSUF are deeply distracting. And it is difficult to find words suitable to the occasion that don't seem trite. But I'll try anyway. My message is that you can now make choices you may never have imagined. Since you arrived on this campus, you have had the opportunity to interact with talented and committed faculty and staff, as well as with all the other students who have traveled with you. You know things you didn't know before, and that's great. But more important, because of these experiences, you acquired ways of thinking that really expanded the choices you can make, both professionally and personally. And that power to choose is a real treasure. You can quite literally be anything you want to be, and you can change that along the way. Because my college gave me new ways to think, I could start as a part-time faculty member here, then go to law school and on to private practice for 10 years, and return here in 2001 in a tenure-track position. I tell you this just to illustrate how empowered you are as a result of the ways of the time you have spent here. And you developed these ways of thinking and the power to choose that goes with them by all you have done at CSUF. Working crazy hours while going to school full-time, coming back to school after years of doing something else, engaging in service on campus and in the community, cultivating a love of learning, and inspiring all of us who have been lucky enough to work with you. We, the faculty, staff, and administrators who have watched your progress, can claim only modest credit for your achievements, but we are very proud of you. On behalf of the Academic Senate, the faculty and staff of California State University Fullerton, I thank you for spending your time at CSUF learning with us, congratulate you on your achievements, and encourage you to celebrate those today. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Yanitza Berrios, President of the California State University Fullerton Associated Students.
Thank you, Dr. Bonnie. Family, friends, faculty, distinguished guests, and most importantly, graduates, good morning and congratulations. You've all made it to commencement, so you must have been able to successfully find parking. Sometimes it feels like that accomplishment alone is worthy of a diploma. Once again, my name is Yanitza Berrios, and it has been my honor serving as your ASI president this past year. And something not many people know about me is that I'm a twin. Are there any twins in the crowd? Ooh! I'm a twin. We're fraternal. No, we don't look alike. No, she didn't come to Cal State Fullerton. Yes, I'm the cooler one, but she'll tell you otherwise. Growing up with a twin was great. I always had someone to go through life experiences with and be by my side. But at 18, we each decided to attend different universities. I initially thought I was happy to finally get away from my sister, but I was wrong. I no longer had someone to lean on. I had to make my own friends, fight my own battles, and for the first time in years, go through a new chapter in my life completely alone. I shared this story, not to brag that I'm a twin, but for the underlying lesson. College is a transitional process. Whether you're coming from a school of 400 or 4,000, coming to a university of nearly 40,000 students is a huge change, and change is uncomfortable. When I first started at Cal State Fullerton, I was excited to experience all the expectations I had set for it. But during the first couple of semesters, it wasn't everything I had hoped and dreamed for. I still remember coming home from class in tears. I remember calling my mom and telling her how I wasn't really enjoying college, and I still felt alone. But as the months passed, I soon realized we're all in this together. We all understand the struggle of getting to campus at 8 a.m. for the 10 a.m. class because we don't want to park in Lot G, aka Narnia. We all experience the chaos finals brings and have seen students sleep in the most unique positions, or maybe we've been those students. And we've waited in those Starbucks lines that were way too long, but we needed that caffeine. So I guess it makes sense on why people would want to run in their underwear at the end of the semester. But it was all the hardships, obstacles, and successes that allow us to look back and make us feel like a damn proud Titan. Now, as we look ahead, new careers await us of saving lives, inventions, business interactions, educating future Titans, and so much more. Our faculty, advisors, mentors, family, friends, and others have all helped us get here today. Cal State Fullerton has equipped us with the necessary tools to better prepare ourselves for the workforce and to help us find our niche in the world. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our supporters that have helped us get here today. I know I wouldn't be here had it not been for my support system, especially my family. College was about learning how to become the best versions of ourselves and how to be a positive contribution to society. And as we shed some tears along the way, we must make sure to look at the future with a bright smile. Thank you, and once again, congratulations to the class of 2017. We did it.
Thank you, Anita. It is now my pleasure to invite President Garcia back to the lectern to introduce the keynote speaker. President Garcia.
It is now my honor to introduce your commencement speaker and proud Titan alumna, Linda Wolverton. I also want to welcome her mother, Virginia, who has joined us today. Welcome, Virginia. This will likely not be the first time you've heard from Linda on a Saturday morning, particularly if you grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons. Even if you're too young to remember My Little Pony and Friends, Dennis the Menace, Teen Wolf, or the Garbage Pail Kids, I have a hunch some of your parents and family do. Yes, it was Linda's writing that breathed life into those characters and the adventures they took us on every Saturday morning throughout the 1980s. And despite her success as a writer on these shows, just a few years out of Cal State Fullerton, in an industry that was and continues to be dominated by men, like all Titans, Linda continued to reach higher. And when I say reach higher, I mean she left television to write the first animated feature film ever nominated for Best Picture in the history of the Academy Awards. That was 1991's Beauty and the Beast. And she went on to adapt the film for the Broadway stage, earning a Tony Award and playing a critical role in what would become the 6th longest running show in Broadway history. Linda followed that up by co-writing a little film called The Lion King, which at the end of its theatrical run was the second highest grossing film of all time. More recently, she wrote Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, starring Johnny Depp, and Maleficent, starring Angelina Jolie, the latter of which she will write the sequel. And despite all the projects on her desk right now, which includes the launch of a feature animation division for Skydance Media, she has found the time to write something just for you, the Titan class of 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our proud alumna and world-renowned screenwriter, Linda Wolverton, to the lectern to deliver your 2017 commencement address.
President Garcia, trustees, faculty, alumni, distinguished guests, family, friends, and most importantly, graduates. It's quite an honor for me to be able to speak with you on one of the most significant days of your life. But before we take a peek into your future, I'd like to consider all of the obstacles that you overcome to arrive at this day. You had to negotiate your tuition, your schedule, your classes, your teachers, your grades, your workload, your home life, and all because you understand the value of an education. Some of you may have had to hold down a part-time job while you were in school. Others may have had no job, perhaps not very much money, or food. Others may have found themselves on a friend's couch for a time. And a few may even have resorted to living out of your car. Now, I say this because my college boyfriend lived out of his car for a while. And one morning, he decided that he wanted to make pancakes on the engine. I'll never forget the sight of this. There he was at the side of the road, under the hood, flipping hotcakes. You know, they turned out pretty good, except when we tried to eat them. When I was invited to speak with you today, I wasn't sure that I would have anything of significance to say to graduates of the School of Economics, or business, or math or science. I'm a writer. I'm a storyteller. I'm an artist. What could I impart to you? And then I recalled all of the creative problem solving that it took for you to arrive here today. And I understood that you are artists too. You are all engaged in the creation of that great work of art that is your life. Now, I want to imagine for a moment that you're elderly. And yes, it will happen. And you're in a museum, and you're looking at a tapestry on the wall, one of those really big tapestries. And this one happens to depict your life. What would it look like? Would it go from success to amazing success? Would it be taking the easy way out or the safe path, avoiding risk or failure? When I set out to create a character, I always search for the dark night of the soul moment. That's the moment when all is lost. Everything is lost, and it's that character's fault. And they have to look inside and look deep at themselves and know that they failed, and they have to find a way to go on. The dark night of the soul, it is imperative for human growth. So if failure is a part of life, it's a necessary part of your growth as human beings, why do we go to such effort to avoid it? And if failure is necessary, why are we afraid? Can you imagine your life with no fear of failure in it? Everything would open up. You could do anything. I know that's easy to say because the world looks pretty bleak right now. But I want you to think about your tapestry. If it had no bleak periods of failure in it, it would be kind of boring. Wouldn't be colorful, wouldn't be interesting. No crowds would form to look at it. The crowds would be across the hall looking at the tapestry that's filled with risk and crashing defeat and rising from the ashes and passion and great love and enormous heartbreak. It's the stuff of life. But yes, this is easy to say, to have no fear, when the world is pretty daunting. And the world is very daunting right now. Whatever your politics, the landscape is shifting under our feet like polar ice. No one knows what's going to happen next. It's a scary world. But I want to take a moment to put things into perspective. When I was in college, it was the waning years of the Vietnam War. I went to California State University, Long Beach. The draft was in effect. Now, if you were a student and you were drafted, you would be sent to Vietnam, and chances are very, very high that you wouldn't return, or you wouldn't return the same. So the draft struck fear in the hearts of my entire generation. My college boyfriend, the same one who lived out of his car, was tall and rail thin, and he sported a big afro. Kind of freaked my parents out, but they learned to love him. My mother can attest to that. On the day he had to go to take his medical exam to be given his draft status, he was so nervous that he forgot to eat breakfast. So at the weigh-in, he came in underweight. 4F, not draftable. So not eating his gasoline pancakes that morning may very well have saved his life. My generation faced dangerous times just like you are facing dangerous times. We took to the streets. We popularized protest. We turned America against the Vietnam War. We changed the culture. You can change the culture too, but you don't have to hit the streets. You don't have to burn down buildings or go to jail. You can change it from within. That's the path I took. I was around 10 years old in elementary school. I was raising my hand in class, raising my hand. Why is she not calling on me? Why is she only calling on the boys? I'm just as smart as the boys, smarter. Why is it assumed that the boys are smarter than the girls? I became a feminist in elementary school. And I have been a proud feminist ever since. Even when it was not popular to be a feminist, I was a feminist. And it's suddenly popular again. We were raised on someday my prince will come. Someday, if I'm pretty enough, and I'm sweet enough, and I'm kind, and I'm generous, and I can endure all manner of horrible, cruel hardships from mean stepsisters and stepmothers and evil witches and jealous queens, if I can make friends with little forest creatures and sing, and if my foot can fit into a little tiny glass slipper, then and only then will I be worthy of a handsome prince who will appear out of nowhere to save me from my miserable existence. This is what we were raised on. And we bought it. We drank the Kool-Aid because it was all that was offered to us. It's the only depiction of being a female, the good female. We didn't know anything else. And I have to say that model of femininity had disastrous results for my generation of women, many of whom, because of that, have a very difficult time loving themselves. After graduating from California State University, Long Beach, I came to Cal State University, Fullerton. And I want to take a moment to thank this university for your so generous, so supportive, believing in me. Your belief in me made me believe in myself and enabled me. And really, truly, I utilized the skills that I learned here every single day in my career. So thank you so much. So after I graduated, I followed a circuitous path to Hollywood. After many setbacks and failures and bashing my head into a glass ceiling, I found myself at Disney. And there I was in a very unique position. They asked me to create a new Disney heroine. Can you imagine what went through my little hippie feminist brain? Subversive thoughts. Luckily, I had a genius partner in crime. His name was Howard Ashman. He was the lyricist and co-creator of Beauty and the Beast. Howard and I set out to create a proactive, intelligent, thinking, reading Disney heroine who led with her brains and not her looks, who fearlessly transformed the world that she found herself in. And we got a lot of pushback, because we were going up against 50 years of an entrenched position of what an outdated, entrenched idea of what a woman should be, of the ideal female. The Disney princess was a bastion of the Disney culture, and we were going up against that. And Howard Ashman was fighting his own beast at the time, the monster of HIV/AIDS. And I was fighting for feminism. So together, we formed a partnership, and we worked very hard to create Belle and the Beast. But we didn't announce our intentions to Disney. We never, ever said feminist, even to each other. We just created a heroine that we could believe. But Howard was very, very ill. And so I was left on my own to fight the battle by myself. And it was hard. It took me 4 years to do the movie, and I was a woman. the only woman there. I had to be strong. I had to be tempestuous and passionate and stood by what I truly believed, because I wasn't fighting for my career. It wasn't that simple. I was fighting for a new icon of feminism, a new image. I was fighting for the girls of tomorrow. So every day for 4 years, I zipped up my imaginary flak jacket and went out there to fight the good fight. And I didn't, I was very strong-willed. There's a paragraph in a book about how I used to beat my head against the table. True. I don't deny it. And I didn't make many friends then. In fact, I would walk in and the whole room would fall silent. But it didn't matter to me, because everything fell away. It all fell away because I knew I was doing the right thing. Ultimately, others on the Beauty and the Beast team embraced Belle, and finally Disney did, and ultimately the world. And as you've heard, Beauty and the Beast went on to become the first animated feature film ever to be nominated for Best Picture. Thank you. Howard Ashman lost his battle to AIDS, but he won. We won. Because we changed the culture. Disney never again put the victim heroine into the world. Instead, they gave us Nala, Mulan, Moana, Alice, the Frozen sisters, even Maleficent, and so many more to come. Your generation can do the same thing that we did if you're fearless enough and you're creative enough. But most importantly, make that tapestry of yours amazing. Throw everything in it. Passion and feed and fall on your face many times. Rise from the ashes. Dare to fly. Draw a crowd with it. I will be watching. Congratulations, and thank you.
Let's thank Linda once more for reminding you to create your amazing tapestry. Thank you for those amazing remarks. It is now my pleasure to invite Interim Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Arneel Puri, to the lectern. Provost Puri.
Thank you, President Garcia. And good morning to Cal State Fullerton's class of 2017. It is a great honor to be here to celebrate this tremendous milestone in your personal and professional journeys. Every graduate here has worked extremely hard in pursuit of a brighter tomorrow for yourself, our communities, our nation, and indeed the world. Let no one doubt the sacrifices you have made to be here today, and let no one question your drive and your perseverance. I'm immensely proud to call you Titans, now and for the rest of your lives. And I know that you will soon show the world what it really means to reach higher. Let us give a loud round of applause to the class of 2017. It is now time to recognize and perform the hooding ceremony for the graduates in the Cal State Fullerton Doctor of Nursing Practice program. May the graduates please approach. A doctorate is the highest level of academic degree and accomplishment. We are very proud of these Titans who have reached higher to stand at the pinnacle of academic achievement. Dr. Lori Rhodes, Dean of the College of Health and Human Development, and I will be performing the hooding ceremony today. Dr. Rhodes?
Rosalinda Kaifra Morgan. Dimitra Botstad Bratkits. Chin El Lu Chiukura. Joseph Mark Abbey de Vera. Ziltara Siwali Teal. Paolo Narvaez Jose. Wan Ching Law. Sarelin Koromeng. Minnie Thomas. Angelica Ahonin. Daniel Weiss. Nancy Jo Bush. Alexandra Interi Ahno. Monette Lenis Lalimar. Ip Pam. Lisa Matson. V. Win.
Congratulations to these outstanding graduates on their important accomplishment. It is now time to recognize those graduates who have earned their bachelor's degree with honors. Outstanding scholastic achievements at the baccalaureate level are recognized upon completion of degree requirements by the awarding of honors. In recognition of their scholastic excellence, all honors graduates are presented with a medallion with the seal of California State University imprinted on it and the level of honors engraved on the reverse. Although their names are annotated in the commencement program, I would like to recognize each group of honors graduates today. Individuals graduating summa cum laude, wearing their medallion with blue ribbons, please stand and remain standing. Individuals graduating magna cum laude, wearing their medallion with orange ribbons, please stand and remain standing. Individuals graduating cum laude, wearing their medallion with white ribbons, please stand. Congratulations to all honors graduates. We are very proud of you. Please be seated. Now we have reached the moment that you all have been waiting for. Will all doctorate graduates and candidates please stand? Will all master's graduate and candidates please stand? Will all baccalaureate graduates and candidates please stand? President Garcia, on behalf of the faculty of California State University Fullerton, I'm pleased and honored to present you the graduates and candidates of the class of 2017 for the conferring of their degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Puri. Class of 2017, you ready? It is with great privilege and honor, before valued family and friends, and upon the recommendation of the administration and teaching faculty of California State University Fullerton, and by the authority vested in me as president of the university by the CSU Board of Trustees, to confer upon all of you completing requirements the degrees for which your name is listed in our commencement program, together with the rights, privileges, opportunities, and responsibilities to our society attached thereto. Your diplomas will stand as testimony to your possession of these degrees. As a symbol of conferral of your degree, baccalaureate candidates may now move the tassel from the right to the left side of the caps. Congratulations, felicidades, class of 2017. We are very proud of you.
The 2017 University Commencement ceremony is now concluded. We ask that the audience remain seated as the platform party exits the stage. When the platform party has exited, please proceed to the location of your college or the department ceremony. Congratulations to our 2017 graduates and their families and friends attending today. We hope you enjoy your day on campus. The 2017 University Commencement Ceremony for California State University Fullerton is now concluded. Congratulations to all of you for reaching this significant milestone in your life.